Robbie, congratulations on your appointment as Meath Senior Football Manager for the next 3 years. What's your thoughts on getting the role?
Well, it's a huge honour. Delighted, surprised in one way as well. Obviously, some good people looking for it as well. So, an absolute honour for me and the club and the family and friends, etc., to get appointed. I'm very much looking forward to getting cracking at it now.
It might have slipped below the radar for many people, but you're a man steeped in Meath GAA. Your father was captain, I think, of the St John's team that won the 1974 Intermediate Football Championship, and was on the first ever Wolf Tones team the following year, 1975, when they defeated the reigning champion Summerhill. So there's a real pedigree there.
There is, and that's been brought up with me since I was so high. So I always remember Dad bringing me into Croke Park, lifting me over the stiles, which wasn't easy in when you're in Kilmacud or in Dublin and you're the only Meath guy around the place. But that's been with me since a very young kid, and it's never left me. So thanks to Dad for that.
It's a good legacy for any father to leave behind. But then I suppose as you grew a little bit older, I think a picture surfaced in recent days, and it was captioned, "Not many people get to take over from their hero." You with Colin O'Rourke in his sports shop in the shopping centre in Navan back in the day. So things like that, they must bring store memories.
Huge. I remember that day really well because back then you couldn't get a Meath jersey in Dublin, not like nowadays where you can walk in and get one. So it was around the birthday time and Dad brought me into the shopping centre. I remember every single detail. Colin being in there, lifting me up onto the table to take the picture. I remember Dad talking to Colin, does he even use your right foot anymore? Colin, loads of memories that came back as soon as I saw the photo. So I have that framed at home up in the kitchen, and it's one I often look at. Yeah.
Was intercounty management something over the years that you're aspiring towards? You were very successful with Kilmacud Crokes. You previously managed your club, St Peter's Dunboyne, as well. Was it something in the back of your mind that you were always going to go for at some stage?
I'm not sure it was a burning ambition. I think when I started out with Dunboyne, I'd really just come out of playing. I think McMahan was the manager at the time, and he asked me to come in as a kind of player selector. The playing piece didn't last too long, and he ended up as a selector. And then when Deck stepped down, I took over Dunboyne, which was brilliant learning experience for me. And then out to St Sylvester's for a few years in Dublin, which was another a learning curve and a step up. And then ultimately back to the club in Kilmacud. So I thought that might be the stopping point, to be honest. But things have gone reasonably well out there, and I suppose you're always looking at what's the next step. And here I am.
And looking on from afar over the years, one of your focal points as a manager seems to have been building a good management team behind you. I remember a few years ago in a minor final with Dunboyne, you had Shane McEntee, you had Brian Sheridan alongside you. Looking into Kilmacud Crokes, you've always had a good, strong backroom team. Even this year, Paul Galvin was added to the mix. Yeah. Is that something that was really at the forefront of your mind when you went looking for your backroom team for the Meath job?
Yeah, absolutely. They're so integral to what you do. I've worked with some brilliant management teams down through the years, going back from, as I say, from that Dunboyne through Sylvester's and into Kilmacud. There's 2 or 3 different management teams have been involved in that over that period, and each one of them have their own skill sets. But I think what we currently have here is top notch, and one I think everyone should be excited about.
Speaking of which, yesterday Monday it was announced that Conor Gillespie, the Summerhill manager, is coming into the mix as a selector. On top of that, you have Martin Corrie from Monaghan, Joe McMahan from Tyrone. All men who have been very successful in their own right, and they will add hugely to the mix.
Absolutely, they've huge experience from that intercounty background, and obviously Conor then is a big addition as well with his local knowledge. He's done a super job at Summerhill and a brilliant footballing brain. So very excited with what we have, and as the lads I think will show their true worth when we get up and running.
Martin is from a real footballing stronghold in Monaghan, from Clontibbert O'Neill's club. I think he won 6 senior championships as a player with them. I know as a man of Monaghan stock, he would have broke my own club, my father's club's heart on many an occasion. But he's gone there. He then went into Castleratton, a club who'd lost 3 senior finals in a row in Cavan. He was coach of them in 2018 when they won the championship. Moved on to Cavan. We all know they won the Ulster in 20. Then moved into Monaghan, reached the All-Ireland semi-final in 23. So he's a real pedigree, and he's been building an impressive CV.
He has. It's kind of funny. We have a certain thing we do at Kilmacud at the minute, an attacking piece, and it's only when I got chatting to Martin I understood where that actually came from, and he came up with it first in Castleratton way back when, and we're now implementing it so many years later in Kilmacud. So a brilliant footballing brain, a brilliant coach, and as I say, his pedigree stands up pretty well.
He has worked with top class forwards, whether it was in Cavan or Monaghan. I'm sure he's looking forward to some of the players he's going to be working with in Meath. there might not be a Conor McManus figure in Meath at the moment, but I'm sure he's looking forward to maybe developing a Conor McManus type figure.
Yeah, I think he's very excited. He obviously has a lot of info on some of our players already, having been on the Monaghan side and prepping to play Meath. So he's a dossier there already. He's been at some of the games, so he's picked up on some players already, and he's excited about what he sees.
And one of the things he's really noted for is being that attack coach. It's something that's so important in the game, breaking down mass defences, etc. So somebody with his ideas coming in is going to be massively beneficial.
Yeah, and obviously there's new rules coming as well. So there's some exciting times ahead, and some things we need to figure out and make sure we're not caught behind some other counties in that prep. So Martin's already looking at that, and I'm looking forward to see what we come up with.
Of course, the other coach coming in is Joe McMahan. Everybody remember Joe and Justin. They quenched the Twin Towers in the 2008 final.
That's right, yeah.
So a man steeped in football. He was an international rules player back in the day as well. I think maybe alongside your brother-in-law David Gallagher in 2008.
Yeah, that's right.
So maybe your connection with him might go back to that far. But he has built an incredible CV as a coach. All-Ireland winner in 2021 at Tyrone and Ulster in 2022. Galbally, who had lost the Ulster final in 2019, won the Ulster and Tyrone titles in 2022. He also coached for Manor briefly. So another man again who's built a very impressive CV.
Absolutely, and listen, anytime anyone wins in All-Ireland as a coach, I think you must be doing something right, and Joe's very lucky to have done that already. I was on that trip with him that time. Sean was the manager, and we got to tag along and enjoy some of the games, so I would have met Joe down at that stage as well. So just catching up with him again then when we met up again was great. But again, the same as Martin, unbelievable pedigree, and I think excited to get going for the county.
And probably knowing him from that trip made the initial approach to get involved with the Meath setup a little bit easier maybe.
Yeah, well, look, you have a conversation piece, I suppose, straight away, but not so sure how much Joe remembers of it, me either. It was certainly a great trip, one in a lifetime, thanks to Sean Boylan bringing us along. But yeah, brilliant guy, as I say, so similar to Martin, and I think what they're going to bring to the package is really exciting.
When you have the two people from outside the county, there was probably a lot of people in Meath when the appointment was initially announced saying, is it lacking a local presence? Mm-hmm. I know you're steeped in St. Peter's, Dunboyne, etc., but there are still people who have that outlook.
Yeah.
That was solved maybe on Monday with the addition of Conor Gillespie, a man who managed Summerhill to win the Keegan Cup in 2023 and the A-League Division 1 titles in 22 and 24. He knows the Meath scene intimately. He
does, and everyone knows Conor's career was cut short, a brilliant midfielder, and I think had he not been, God knows where he might have ended up. He was a brilliant footballer brain. You could sit and talk football with Conor for hours. Rightly so, as you say, he has that local experience, and already he's working behind the scenes only after a couple of days being away from Summerhill. So again, really looking forward to picking Conor's brain and seeing what comes out and see what we can build on.
He came through the development squads. He was a selector at the minors, a coach at the minors in 2019. Yeah. He'd know a huge amount about those young lads coming through. And then, of course, having been with Summerhill, he knows every senior player in the county intimately, really. He has that in-depth knowledge, which is huge.
It is, and I've already seen some of the stuff he sent on, and we were discussing earlier today, like his details on everybody. Obviously, you'd expect his prep from a Summerhill point of view, so we'll be tapping into some of that over the last couple of years that he's been involved in that. But as you say, coming from some of those other squads, he has a massive in-depth local knowledge, and that's going to help for all of us, yeah.
Looking ahead to next season, Division 2 is very much a northeast based division. Yeah. You have Louth, you have Monaghan, you have Westmeath. There's going to be local derbies everywhere. Look, that brings a challenge in itself.
It is. We don't have too much distance to go. I suppose there's one heavy thing, maybe Bar Cork, but listen, everybody knows it's extremely competitive division, and we're going to look at it game by game and see who we have, and try to keep building and keep getting better each week. And if we do that, I think we'll hopefully see signs of progress.
What can Meath supporters expect to see from a Robbie Brennan managed team? Is there a template that you try and implement with teams, or what's the plan?
Yeah, like that's very much what we go after, getting better every single training session, every single day, whether it's gym, whether it's pitch, whether it's tactical, whether it's how we live outside of the group. We'll be going after that, but there's no one particular style, particularly with the new rules. We'll have to see how that sets up for everybody, for other counties as well. But like tactically, we'd like to think we'll be where we need to be, and obviously from an S&C and a fitness point of view, we'll be driving that piece as well, and really just trying to build on the work that Colin and the lads have done. Like they've obviously introduced a lot of guys already into that, and we'll probably get the benefit of that, which is brilliant, and can only thank the lads for doing that, and it's up to us now to try and carry it on.
Over the last couple of years, as Colin blooded a new team effectively, at times he referenced that there was time needed for that group of players. There wasn't a huge amount of experience. But thanks to the work Colin has done over those couple of years and his management teams, they have built that experience. You have a lot of players now coming through who are very successful at minor, and they've pushed on now, and they're approaching that 30, 40, 50 appearance mark for the county, which gives them a great bit of experience.
It does, and that mix of experience and that bit of youthfulness, if you can get that balance right, like not everybody can play 40 games and have that, so you need to find that balance, and I think we'll have that in the squad, and again, thanks to the work that's been done and the longevity of some of the other guys who are still there, hopefully we have a right mix there.
And when you start out in the role, is your plan to have a big squad and whittle it down? Is there trials planned? From that point of view, some managers base it off club championship to say if you can't perform for your club, you're not going to perform for the county. Others prefer trials. What's your mode of operation?
Yeah, I think where we're sitting at the moment, we won't look at trials. Obviously, Martin was down earlier. We've looked at some of the games back on TV as well, the recent championship games. So we'll be looking at that obviously as a piece. We'll be looking at last year's squads. We'll be opening the conversation to see is everybody happy to stay for a start. That's the starting point. And then we'll be looking at one or two hopefully as well that may not have been there, that we'll be trying to encourage back into the fold, and we're currently working on that at the minute.
With the success of the under-20s last year, there's probably a few of those going to push on, not necessarily maybe next year, but over the course of your term. Yeah. And that's something that's probably exciting too. Yeah, again, like the work that Cahill and the guys have put in there has been phenomenal. And I must also mention Paul Garrigan, the work he's doing in the academies. And that's all a stepping stone into the senior setup. So whether it happens straight away for guys or it takes a year in with the sub-development group and then you're brought into the senior setup, there has to be that pathway, and I think, to be fair, the county have set up that brilliantly, so that pathway is there for guys to try and make it into the senior squad. And you were busy on Saturday, but on Sunday you were out at club games. Yeah. Martin was at club games over the course of the weekend. I think Joe might have been maybe as well. So over the course of the weekend, you've seen plenty of games. I know as a Dunboyne man and with your brother-in-law involved with Dunshaughlin, you're at plenty of games before the appointment as well. Yes. So you've seen plenty of club action. You've probably seen a lot of players that have caught the eye, and that's helping you in your role. Absolutely. Like, again, it's only when you get into it you realise you've been at a lot of games already, through league games and championship games, and watching them. So David's obviously involved in Dunshaughlin now, coming up against Dunboyne, so we'll have an interesting few weeks ahead up in Dunboyne. But no, like, obviously I would have a certain local knowledge as well of the players that are in the county, and as I said earlier, Conor can only add to that as well. So hopefully we'll have everybody covered. And it's a proud moment for you and a proud moment for the family to take on the job. Oh, absolutely. It's probably didn't realise that even cousins around the town and stuff I met earlier today that I just hadn't even thought about. Obviously, they're extremely proud of it as well. So it's a huge honour. Like, there's only so many people have done this, and I'm very, very lucky to be in this position. As I say, a massive honour, and I can't wait to get cracking at it. And the third Dunboyne clubman as well. That's right. I have a bit of a job to do to match Andy and Sean now. But listen, I'm just looking forward to getting in and giving it my best shot, and hopefully move things forward a little bit.